Going to work on leash pressure and developing a better relationship with her, because that's where the stem is. So the reactivity that you're seeing and the reactivity that you're getting is solely based off probably lack of control, maybe. Because the reactivity that you're getting from her isn't this aggressive, I want to kill you, rip you apart. It's more, it's almost alert barking, fearful. And if I had the amount of shepherds that I work with and the amount of shepherds I see, we sign up like 3 to 5 shepherds a week. And they're all sorts of different lines, different purposes, different ages. But with these guys, they're extremely intelligent, as you know. They're very intuitive. They're very guardianship-like. And so if in the wrong hands, it could work against you. So if we don't have full control of the animal, you will get all sorts of wires that are all mixed up and wrong and in the wrong spots. So you want to work on your handling first and your relationship. So not training. Yeah. So your relationship actually with the dog, moving with the dog, asking the dog what to do, what not to do. These things have to be set in stone first before you can train. And a lot of people just kind of bypass that whole theory. And for me and what I do, and a lot of the success I've had with dogs is relationship first and then training. So see how so we'll break down the little things, little micro things. So I say come, and she's very like, and you know what that is? Stubborn. It's not so much stubborn, but we think it is. And I hear that a lot. And it's not really her being stubborn, it's her testing me. Oh. It's her saying, how serious are you? Yeah. Right? So Maya, come. Good girl. Well done. So I'm going to start building a relationship with her that she likes, she can trust. Everything's going to be very positive. Okay? So moving forward. Maya, come. Come. So see, you, me. And what that is, do I have to? Right? And so she's going to be an opportunist. So she's going to say, do you really want me to do it or do you not? And that's where your relationship starts coming in. Because I'm not making her, or I'm not enforcing my commands, she's going to take advantage of me and just lay there instead, right? If I apply a tiny bit of pressure to her, she'll move immediately in the direction I want. Yeah. So making sure that...
I think you're more forceful in your speech. I've noticed that.
Oh yeah, tone is really big. Yep. Maya, come. 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 So you see how her back end started. So if I just move this way a little bit. Okay, fine. Good girl. Well done. So these little things are relationship building things. We're not dealing with a dog that is, actually, to be honest, this is a very balanced shepherd right now. Usually you get the whining, you get the jumping, you get the pacing. She's actually just more or less telling me, I know what you want, but I'm not used to actually, you're going to make me do it? I'm like, yeah. So this is good because we're not dealing with a lot of behavior that we will usually see in problems with shepherds. You usually see just a ton of vocalization, anxiety, and we're not seeing that. We're just seeing, judging by the reactivity, because that's really what you want to work on is the dog reactivity. And judging by the reactivity, she's shown me a little bit of it. It's a lot of bark. I don't think there's going to be a ton of bite behind it. I think she's just being a shepherd, which is fine. It's kind of like telling a fish not to swim. I don't mind a shepherd that barks. The only thing that I care about is if I can shut it off or not. Yeah. That's what matters. And that's where we fail as dog owners for the most part. I don't care about, because you don't want to try to be perfect with a dog. Nobody should. Because it's so frustrating. It's too much of a job for you and the handler, and it's too stressful, So I try to explain the problem to move forward. And so when you're working with the reactivity, what you want to do, plain and simple, is do whatever works. And it sounds silly, but behaviorally, she goes, "Hey, there's another dog," and again, we heard her bark, and it's very, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here? Who's that?" That's kind of how she's doing that. So you want to take control of that and do what you need to do with it to. I don't want to necessarily redirect it or cover it up. I just want to stop it. So one thing that has worked really great for me in the past when you're dealing with dogs who are either a little bit of fearful or alert barking, but not really aggressive. So this wouldn't work for a real aggression case. But what you can do is redirect. Okay? And you redirect directions, but the big thing of my redirection versus other people's redirection is they redirect forever, and they redirect on that, and I don't do that. So when a dog, and it doesn't matter if it's real aggression, it doesn't matter if it's fearful aggression, it doesn't matter if it's playful. A dog builds. Okay, so I want you to think of it as kind of like a balloon or a bubble. All right, so all of a sudden they get bigger and bigger, and a level 10 is your red stage of like completely just insanity. And they build that bubble, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the bigger it gets, the more reactive we get and the more chaos it is. So my redirection is a lot different from other people's redirection. They redirect usually for a lifetime. They teach you to redirect forever because it's a Band-Aid. It works, but it doesn't fix the behavior. I redirect for 4 seconds, and then I go back to it. So say we have a dog here, and we have Maya here. Maya, come, good girl. So we're on a walk, and we see a dog. She starts building the bubble. I'm going to pop the bubble. Come. Psst. Good. Right back. Come. Good. She builds again. Psst. Pop it. Go back this way. So each time that bubble builds, I pop it and I poke it, and it deflates. And then it's going to have she's going to have a real hard time building that all the way back up. Right? So the more I keep her in a calm state of mind, the less likely it is going to be for her to go all the way up to that red level, that full bubble again. So I'm deflating the reactivity immediately, and she goes, and lets it out. And she's like, "Man, that was stressful." And then boom, it goes right back again. And she's like, "Oh God, here we are again." She starts building, and I pop it again. And I keep doing that. That works really well for a lot of fearful, non-aggressive, reactivity-based stuff on a leash. Because what it does is it builds, you pop it, you deflate it. She's like, "Okay, good." And then all of a sudden she thinks she's done. You go right back at it, and she starts to build again. And then pretty soon she can't build this anymore. And the bubble just is deflated. And then we just keep her calm. And the more calm she is and the more calm of a state of mind she's in, the less likely and the less easier it is for her to spike way up. So we talked about that, keeping her way down all the time. So she goes, we pop it. She goes, we pop it. So you do that. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to come out, come. Good girl. She sees a dog, bark, bark, bark. Leave it, heel, come, pop the bubble. Walk back. She goes, "Okay, that's over." And then boom, right back again. She's like, "Oh God, here we go again." And then she builds, and then you pop the bubble, come. Good. And then pretty soon you just got a flat tire. And the flat tire represents reactivity, and you can't roll on a flat tire. So it doesn't exist. So get some reactivity. The other big thing with working with leash reactivity and fear-based stuff is it's always going to depend on the subject. So the variable in this project is going to be the other dogs. So here we got to build. So you see we got hair here. So this is that bubble going. It's filling right now. Right? I'm going to pop it. Maya, come. Pop. Come. Come. Good girl. Okay, let's go. Right back. Maya, come. Good girl. Pop. Come. Maya, come. Shake it off. That's deflated. Go back. Maya, come. So see how we got a calmer, and now she's curious. Let's go. Pop it. Good girl. Go back. Come. Good. So she's curious. Tail's going. Pop it. Come. Good girl. Come. Deflate it. So now the bubble doesn't exist, right? So all of the tension that builds, all of the aggression builds, all the reactivity builds, and I pop the crap out of it over and over again. Pretty soon you got a flat tire, and you just can't roll anymore. And then you, Lola, enough. And then pretty soon what you have is you have curiosity, which is ultimately what she's filled with. But because we're unable to break the reactivity and the negative reactivity, she can never get better. So that's a great way to start breaking down that behavior, is just popping that bubble over and over again, and then boom. Right? It's nice.
It's really nice.
So I'm demanding respect now.
Yeah.
Maya, come. See that? Come.
That's awesome.
Come. Good girl. Positive reinforcement. Yes, a good girl. I'm rewarding her because she came in here initially with dog reactivity. We have 2 dogs less than 3 feet away from her, and all she wants to do is love up on me. Good girl. Curiosity. That's all curiosity. No reactivity. No hard stares. No fights being picked here. When you get a lot of dogs that are insecure, kind of bratty, I call it the hockey fight. So what happens is in hockey fights, they don't say much. They just look at each other and then they drop the gloves and fight. That's what dogs do too. So you watch for that a little bit, kind of like the head nod and that sort of thing. Come on. So now I'll exhibit some obedience, and this is where your training comes in. Not only are you not going to react to the other dogs, but now you're going to sit there and you're going to just be quiet. Down. Good girl. Stay. And she kissed me. Thank you. Stay. So you can have your cake and eat it too here. You have the dog that you love, the sweet German Shepherd, without the reactivity. And you win, she wins, they win, everyone wins. But the important part is that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm not really a trainer. I'm not really a behavioralist. I'm kind of right in the middle. I can teach you how to handle like a trainer, but I can also teach you how to rewire like a behavioralist. So breaking down the behavior and then putting it actually in effect is what I can do. And then you'll be able to do this. But the important part is you understanding that your dog's capable of doing it. Psst. Sit. 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 Good. Down. Good. Stay. Because that's where a lot of things start happening negatively. Is it all spirals out of control because you're like, oh, I have this awesome dog, but we suck with other dogs and all these things. And then once you see this, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's ultimately looking for my direction. So before your eyes, I created a good relationship. I created possibly a better relationship with her than anybody else has on an internal level. And then I executed and showed you and her that I have that control only because I focused on my relationship with her.
Yeah.
I wasn't being militant. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't hurting her. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I just said, this is what we're doing. And I was clear. And I was able to communicate that to her. And now there's nothing. Right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. What a good girl you are. What a good girl.